my script. Okay. Did we give Gabe a schedule? Dawson, give Gabe a schedule.
Oh, hang on. Getting ready. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, we're live. Good to see you, Don. We're running through the music. And good morning, everybody. I'm Michael with NWA Welcome Services, and I have my beautiful wife to the left of me, Arlene. Good morning, honey. How are you?
Just doing great this morning.
Good.
Enjoying
good.
our morning here at Neighbors Mill again. The beautiful new home to NWA Welcome Services. Good morning, neighbor.
Yes, yes. And so I'll tell you, honey, the weather has gone from winter to summer. We didn't even get spring in this at all.
I agree. I agree.
I think, though, there were a lot of great events going on throughout Northwest Arkansas. We just concluded the Denville Film Festival. A lot of folks doing downtown stuff this weekend, the farmers market and First Friday. So there was a lot of that going on as well.
Well, I tell you, from Bella Vista to Fayetteville, we have it going on. If you have the interest, there's something happening. So, speaking of Bella Vista, didn't you talk with them recently?
I did, and you know what's neat about Bella Vista is they're really undergoing a rebranding program throughout Bella Vista, and they've got a lot of neat stuff going on with renovations to various restaurants, and Lake Point Restaurant is a beautiful restaurant if you've got a boat and you want to just kind of sit out on the lake and then have some great dining experience. I'll tell you, they've got some wonderful food there, and you can overlook the lake up there. And so, but they've also got a great magazine called Inside Bella Vista,
and we have that in our welcome basket.
We do. In fact, it is in front of our welcome basket as a feature this morning, so we're excited about that. But I want to tell you one thing, honey. Throughout Northwest Arkansas, you don't really ever have to want for events or things to do.
I agree. I agree. But let's talk a little bit about the wonderful Neighbors Mill Bakery and Cafe.
Oh, let's do.
Well, today our host, Michael, could not be on stage with us because he is just so busy. It's a great Monday morning here at the Bakery and Cafe. His wife and his baker have gone to a trade show, so he's holding down the entire fort by himself. So we're going to talk about his business for him. Excuse me. One thing that I want to tell you about, though, is their orange rolls.
Oh, their
Michael
orange rolls. Oh,
Michael brought an orange roll to me, or a couple of them this week.
Can we say sinful?
Yeah.
No calories in that,
Well,
is
you know,
there?
I have a favorite orange roll that I've had for 20 years or whatever. And I really think this went over the top of my...
You think it beats
Yeah.
the one that was always in the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
All right.
this one speaks of being an orange roll. I mean,
Oh.
you know it's an orange roll. It's just, it was awesome. And so anyway, what I found out from Mike is that they have weekly specials, and like Wednesdays is their orange roll day. So if you are looking for orange rolls and you want to get the best of the best, come on down here on Wednesday and take care of it then.
Well, and speaking of specials, I think, why don't you tell them about Mike's special today, I think, which is really fitting for a Monday.
He's got a special today that is going to really give you that protein fix that you need for the week. It's going to get you started. It's a Philly steak sandwich with just the choice beef. It'll melt in your mouth. And also it has peppers and onions and Swiss cheese,
yes.
and a horseradish sauce. So that's the special today. Come on down and try that for lunch.
Well,
But
And beyond the sandwich, they've even got great salads. They've got just a wonderful array of healthy choices for you as well. Now, that Philly cheese, I think I would take about 2 of those myself, so it wouldn't be so healthy.
I don't think you would, because Mike makes some pretty good sides.
Well, he does.
So
yes,
I don't think you need 2 of them, and your
well,
heart doesn't need 2 of them.
No, my doctor wouldn't appreciate that.
No.
No.
So, well, speaking of a little bit more on the breads, let's talk about that and what they have coming up, or what we saw this weekend.
Well, we were over at Sam's Club this weekend. Nobody ever shopped Sam's Club. I think we were the only ones in there. But so anyway, as we were going throughout Sam's Club, we ran into Neighbor's Mill that's actually in Sam's Club. So what breads do you remember spotting there?
We saw the strawberry pecan.
The strawberry, I forgot.
That was the one I grabbed and showed you. Look, Neighbor's Mill is in Sam's Club.
Yes.
And then we also saw the triple cheese, garlic triple cheese, I think it's called.
Yes. Yes.
So that's next ones I want to try, because you know I'm hooked right now on Roger's Best. Neighbor's Best, yes. Neighbor's Best, the Rogers.
I'm sure Rogers would love a bread named after them.
They have it here.
Do they have the
They
Rogers?
have it here.
Okay.
It's a Neighbor's Mill, and it's called Roger's Best.
Well,
and
well, maybe we could get Liz, who's going to be on later, to feature that at the Lowell Museum. You know, we can start maybe they can make up a bread called Lowell's Best. Or,
there you go.
You know.
Because, you know, they're so close to the border here. So,
well,
you know, also, we never told them who we are today, except that you mentioned we're Northwest Arkansas, or NWA Welcome Services.
Yes.
And what we do is we go out and visit new homeowners and encourage them to connect within their community, connect with their neighbors, and connect with their area businesses. So we just ask you to come down and connect with us here on Monday mornings. Connect with us on our Facebook page, share our posts, share our videos.
Yes.
We also post a lot of our sponsoring sponsors out there with what they have going on and events that are coming up.
Well, and as we wrap up here on our intro segment, honey, I'd like to also talk about our wonderful music today from Gabe Wood that has agreed to join us this morning, and we're excited about that because he really is got quite a ministry background and has done music worship in a number of churches, and we're excited to have him on this morning during not only during our break times, but just to have him here on the show in general.
Yes, you're right. He does have 7 years of opportunities that different churches have brought him in to lead worship.
Yes.
And so we knew him when he was a teenager.
Wow.
And that, unfortunately, it's been a little while, and he's grown up. So let's take it over to Gabe Wood, and then we'll have our next guest.
There you go.
When my hope and strength is gone, you're the one who calls me on. You are the life, you are the fire that's in my soul. Oh, your resurrection power burns like fire in my heart. When what is right, I lift my eyes into your throne. We are more than conquerors through Christ. You have overcome this world, this life. We will not bow to sin or to shame. We are defiance in your name. You are the fire that cannot be tamed. You are the power in our veins, our God, our conquerors. I will sing unto the night. Christ is risen and on high. Greater is he living in me than in the world. No surrender, no retreat. We are free and well redeemed. We will declare over despair, you are the Lord. We are more than conquerors through Christ. no to sin or to shame. We are defiance in your name. You are the fire, you cannot be tamed. You are the power in our veins. Our God, our God, our conqueror. Nothing is impossible. Every chain is breakable with you. We are victorious. You are stronger than our hearts. You are greater than the dark. With you, we are victorious. We are more than conquerors through Christ. You have overcome this world, this life. We will not bow to sin or to shame. We are defiance in your name. You are the fire, you cannot be tamed. You are the power in our veins, our Lord, our God, our conqueror.
Hey, thank you, Kate, and welcome back. When we're out there visiting new homeowners, we often spend time with them talking about nonprofit organizations and encouraging them to get out and find a place where their skill set will fit in with one of the nonprofit organizations. Also here at Good Morning Neighbor, we visit with a nonprofit each week. And today we have with us Ms. Liz Estes. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you.
Liz is with the Lowell
Historical Museum.
I wanted to say Lowell Museum Historical, and that doesn't flow.
That doesn't flow.
So, what kind of skill sets can you use? Well, first, before we get into that, tell me a little bit about, or tell our viewers a little bit about how the museum came about.
Well, the museum came about by just the regular citizens wanting to bring things together to preserve history, to showcase the art, the photographs, the different things that really give everybody today a sense of what our history was back in the 1800s and 1900s and so forth.
Awesome. Well, who founded it?
Elsa Tecker and Anne Blind, Glenna Yeager, Beryl Lou Fowler, and a host of other people put this together.
Okay, so it was a community effort.
Community effort, yes it was.
Well, I know that you spent some time partnering in your community.
I do.
So tell us a little bit about what you do there and how it affects your community.
Well, the Lowell Museum will entertain or educate or visit with children, with adults, with groups, anywhere that we're invited. Often the schools, quite regularly the Lowell School, the Tucker School. Friday I go to the Jamie Darr School. We present programs to educate the children about the museum and about the history of Lowell. And one of their favorite programs is the Butterfield Stagecoach.
Why is that their favorite?
Because we actually have a Butterfield Stagecoach, and we take it with us, and the children can see it, and that's history alive. And we have the Mudtown Players who tell the history of the city, the history of Lowell and the era of when we started, and they just go crazy over it.
So all our friends that are in Lions Club or Rotary Club, all those organizations, you have a program you can take.
Yes, in fact, I have a full program, a full schedule, to go to those places and begin to tell them again about our programs and about the Lowell Museum.
Awesome, awesome. We still have a couple of minutes, so I want you to mostly talk about this little thing that we've been helping you promote through the Welcome Basket. I say little, and I like your expression about that, because it's not such a little thing, but on your website page, it's called The New Dream.
The New Dream.
Tell our viewers about The New Dream.
Our new dream is to build a new museum. We're housed right now to full capacity. We cannot put another thing in there, although people come all the time asking us to take stuff. We want to build a new building over on Bellevue Road in the Kathleen Johnson Memorial Park, and we have 3 acres designated for us, and we have plans, and we want the community to come help us build that museum.
Sounds like you've got opportunity for growth, and then maybe even a little bit more than just focusing on Lowell.
Well, we're going to expand. We have a great World War II memorabilia exhibit, and we want to really focus on the veterans, past and present. We want to include their families and in the new museum, and we want to build a bigger place for children to come and have their things presented also.
That's one thing I've really loved about the museum is how much you focus on veterans. It's just amazing to see what you all have in the museum, and I understand you have more that you just don't have space.
That's true. I have stuff upstairs that I just can't get out on the floor for people to see, and we want to expand that in our new museum. We want to go regional and have everybody in the Northwest Arkansas participate in this new museum.
Sounds great. Well, if our audience wants to make a donation to the New Dream, or they want to get involved with their skill set in the museum and help you out on some things, or volunteer in many other ways.
Absolutely.
How do they need to get in touch with you?
Well, they can go to Lowell, Arkansas, like Lowell AR History is our .org is our website.
Okay.
They can go to that, leave me a message, or they can donate on there. They can call 479-770-0191 and leave a message there, or talk to me when I'm working there. Call the City of Lowell, drop me in mail, 304 Jackson Place, Lowell, Arkansas.
Sounds great. Well, Liz, we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for asking me to.
Oh, definitely. And I always enjoy when I come down to the museum and get to sit around the table with you and visit.
We have fun, don't we?
Yes, we do. So we'll invite our audience to come down there and just visit everybody.
Yes.
So next up, we have Feeling Good segment with Dr. Courtney Harms. Michael?
We'll go to Gabe first for our 3-minute segment. So take us away, Gabe. Oh, I'm sorry. That was my fault for production error there. But I'm Michael with NWA Welcome Services back with you. And want to thank Neighbors Mill again for having us here this morning and talk about feeling good. Neighbors Mill's got a lot of healthy options, and one of the things that we enjoy in our segments of this show is really talking about health, and health is very important. And with us this morning is Dr. Courtney Harms. Dr. Courtney Harms with New Roots Holistic Healing.
That's right.
Dr. Harms, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I get to walk alongside each of my clients and help them find alternative and holistic approaches with healing. So that can include a supplement plan, that might include a self-care plan, nutrition. Each and every client walks away with a healthy living plan that's specific to their needs. And so I get to figure out exactly what their body is trying to tell them about their health, so that way we can go from there and figure out how to find balance.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you know, we've been connecting through networking, especially masterminds in business.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've had the pleasure of interacting with you at various levels. Something I discovered on your website was that you've kind of gone through a journey yourself, kind of a personal journey, and it's really, I think, helped give you some introspection about, you know, how you've walked through this health cycle. Kind of walk us through a little bit about the journey you've gone through and really how it helps you identify with your clients that come to you.
Absolutely. So I actually have struggled my entire life with depression as well as anxiety. So those have been, at times, crippling struggles that I have had. I also was diagnosed a few years ago with PCOS, which, for those of you who do not know, is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it causes kind of an array of different symptoms. It's a little bit of a constellation of things. And so through that, I have discovered different ways that I can help my symptoms naturally. And that's really what got me on my journey with natural health, is realizing here are all these things that we have at our disposal, basically, that we can begin utilizing. And so it makes sense to me of, you know, the herbs and plants and food and nutrition, things that we already have provided for us that we can use to help our body balance.
Well, it's interesting, Dr. Harms, in that, you know, really that's where medicine got its start in many sense. It's back to the root, if you will, no pun intended.
Exactly.
But in that, how do you see your role helping physicians? I mean, you graduated from Trinity, I think it was, let me get back here just a minute. You graduated from Trinity School of Natural Health.
That's right.
And so how do you see that role that you've gone through and graduating through Trinity and kind of your struggles help come along beside physicians who are prescribing medications to help their clients
Yeah,
out?
absolutely. So I work alongside my client in the capacity that they're comfortable with. So if they would like for me to work alongside their physician, absolutely. But I will support my client in whatever way they're needing that support. And so it really just depends on what their communication, what they're comfortable with communication-wise, and we'll go from there.
Well, you know, it's interesting. One of the things that you've talked about most often in our networking groups has been the study of iridology.
Yeah.
Now, this one has really got me just kind of like, wow, you know, that you can kind of just look into someone's eyes and really just determine kind of some of their health issues.
Yeah.
Walk us through a little bit of that.
Yeah, iridology is really exciting. That's how I was first introduced to natural health from my naturopath. And so I get to look at somebody's eyes and figure out what their body is trying to tell them about themselves. And so your eye mimics your entire body. So your eye is awesome because it gets to show me your entire body's health. And so it starts from top to bottom, honestly, and we look at everything. I can see genetic predispositions. I can see where your weakness is, where are your strengths. What are things that are working? What are things that are not working? And so that's really exciting for me to get to. That's how I assess each of my clients.
So this is really yet an alternative, if you will, to giving you know, your clients options, or in fact anybody in, you know, that's kind of in this health cycle, if you will. All of the options that are out there today, and hats off to you as well for how you take the natural approach to what happens. But really just want to talk a minute here about, there was a National Institute study on drug abuse in 2013 where it stated that Arkansas providers wrote 117.5 opioid prescriptions for every 100 persons. That's approximately, Dr. Harms, 3.5 million prescriptions. In the same year, the average U.S. rate was 79.3 prescriptions. How do you see kind of reducing through what you do this opioid issue that we're really struggling and tackling with in the country?
Yeah. So one thing that I am not able to do, we'll get that out there, is I do not diagnose, treat, or cure.
Correct.
So I'm not able to do that. I'm also never going to ask a client to get off of their prescriptions, nor am I going to recommend that. But what I am going to do is teach them and educate them of options that are going to help their body balance, and how can we support your body systems that might alleviate some different symptoms and where they might find some relief.
Excellent,
So it's all about education.
It is.
Yeah.
And again, I will tell you this, it is exciting to have you not only in Masterminds of Business, but to get to know you as much as we have. Dr. Harms, thank you so much for being on the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now we're going to get back to Gabe and some wonderful music.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here we go.
Come to the water, you thirst, and your thirst no more. Come to the Father, you work, and your work no more. All you who labor in vain, and to the broken chains, love is here, love is now, love is pouring from his hands, from his brow. So love is near, satisfied, streams of mercy flowing from his side. So love is here. Come to the treasure, you search, and you'll search no more. Come to the lover, you want, and you'll want no more, no more. All you who labor in vain, and to the broken chain, see, love is here, love is now, love is pouring from his hand, from his brow. Love is near, satisfied, streams of mercy flow to the bound and broken hearted. He is the Lord. He is the Lord. By his stripes he's paid our rent. From his wounds we drink salvation. He is the Lord. He is the Lord. His love is here. Love is now. Love is pouring from his hand, from his brow. Love is near, satisfies. Streams of mercy flowing from his side. His love is here. His love is here.
We're up here. Good morning, everybody. We're back at Neighbors Mill in Rogers, Arkansas, and I'm always excited, too, when I get to this segment. Health's always a great thing, and Dr. Harms is really trying to keep me in balance, but one of the things that I like to talk about is travel, and you never really can get enough of travel at the end of the day. So, Jeff, welcome back to Good Morning Neighbor. We're excited to have you back as part of our weekly showcase. So, kind of walk me through what's going on this week.
Well, you know, last week, Debbie really got the ball rolling with sharing a travel trip, and I think that's something we're going to try to add to the segment every time.
Okay, great.
So one of the things that I like to do, and it's probably the one that I use the most often, is when I'm planning to either fly or go out of a cruise port, I like to give myself extra time. So when I travel to a cruise port such as Galveston or New Orleans, Louisiana, I like to kind of make a little trip out of it, and we'll break that trip up, but it is going to be a fairly extensive drive. We'll break that trip up with sightseeing along the way, but we usually do it a day ahead of time, so there's no pressure. You know, one experience I can relate was traveling, and believe it or not, ran into icy roads in southern Mississippi, drove all the way through Arkansas, and ran into icy roads in southern Mississippi, and having that extra time took all the stress off. You know, stuck in slow traffic, but we had that extra time, so it made a lot of difference. And that just proves you just never know.
Well, Jeff, that's a great tip. And do you have any other kind of trips coming up in the near future? And kind of walk us through those.
Sure. So I know that last week Debbie talked about Alaska, and there's a brand new ship that one of our really preferred partner cruise lines has begun operating. And so she's going to go on that cruise, and we're going to go on one, I think, actually the week before Debbie, on that same ship. So I'll talk about something a little different than that. I'll be taking a trip later this year. I don't have my dates firmed up yet. But one of the things that Dream Vacations really is trying to put the momentum on is trying to break away from World Travel Holdings years ago was primarily a cruise line operator.
Okay.
And so in the last 3 to 4 years, there's been a really strong push to get into the land vacations market. So today, with the leverage that World Travel Holdings has always had with cruise destinations, they now have that with land suppliers as well.
Okay.
So we can practically book any destination in the world that you'd like to go to through all of the preferred partners that we have. So that trip for us will be going to the Dominican Republic. It's, no pun intended, it's really a hot destination right now for a lot of people. And so there's several areas that people just, if you don't think about it, you really don't know. There's Punta Cana, a really awesome, really modern area on the eastern tip. There's Puerto Plata, which is in the northern part, kind of in the center part of the Dominican. And then La Romana is on the south beach area.
Okay.
Really beautiful.
Fantastic. Well, Jeff, I know, I've done some traveling in that part of the country through cruises, and, really, I've done some travel also into Puerto Rico, and beautiful just places to, go and vacation. And really, I'll tell you, humidity-wise, I mean, we have a lot of humidity here. What folks don't understand is to those parts of the country, there's not a lot of hot or huge humidity.
Right.
A lot of it just boils down to, no pun intended, just those 80, 90-degree weather points. And again, you still enjoy it because you're on the beach and you're going through, enjoying the water and just having fun and playing. But,
Right.
But great areas to get away, especially in the Dominican Republic. So talk to me a little bit, too, about, kind of some of these, what I call closer to home trips.
Yeah, so there are all kinds of closer to home trips, and really with the way that we have airlines operating now out of XNA, we're seeing a lot of really good cost opportunities where they're really getting competitive. So really, I consider trips to the Caribbean being really good close to home options. They can get you there typically in less than half a day, unless you really don't get the best flights. Another good plug for travel agents, but I consider those good close to home trips.
Those are.
Yes.
Well, Jeff, thank you again for being
bet.
on the show. We really appreciate having you to talk about travel tips. Thanks.
You bet. Thank you, Mike.
All righty. Have a great day.
You too.
Daddy was a preacher, she was white. Just trying to make her world a little better, shine a light. People started talking just to hear their own voice. Those people tried to accuse my father, said he made the wrong choice. Though it might be painful, the time will always tell. Those people have long since gone, my father never failed. Even when the rain falls, even when the storm starts rising, even when the storm comes, I am washed by the water. Even when the rain falls, even when the flood starts rising, even when the storm comes, I am washed by the water. Just want something beautiful to touch me. I know that I'm in reach, 'cause I am down on my knees, waiting for something beautiful. Oh, 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 something beautiful. Under my feet, even when the ones I love turn around and crucify me, I won't ever let you down. I won't fall, I won't fall, I won't fall as long as you're around me. Even when the rain falls, even when the flood starts rising, even when the storm comes, I am washed by the water. Even when the rain falls, even when the flood starts rising, even when the storm comes, I am washed by the water.
Good morning. We are here at Neighbor's Mill for Good Morning Neighbor. And so I'm so glad you joined us today. This morning we have John Comstock with us. He is running for Senate District 5.
District 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
District 3.
Arkansas State Senate District 3.
Nice. The magic of the first thing in the morning shows here. So, John, tell us, if we're in District 3, how do we know that? What's kind of that boundary?
Just know primarily it's the bulk of the city of Rogers, and it is all of eastern Benton County. So it would include Pea Ridge, Garfield, all the way up to the Missouri line, Carroll County, and then going down 71B, it cuts through Lowell and it goes to the Washington County line, and then it's all of the lake area and eastern Benton County. Think of this, our state has 35 state senators. Benton County has 3 state senators, one in the west, one in the middle, which is Bentonville, and then the one that I'm running for, District 3.
Okay. So talk to us about why you're running for office and what makes you the best candidate selection when they vote in the general election in the fall.
Yeah, well, I would just say this. I'm not a career politician, that's for sure. This is my first ever partisan political race in my life. I am qualified from the standpoint I've been an attorney since 1976. I was fortunate to be a circuit court judge for Benton County from in the years 2011, 2012. And what I do now is I'm a mediator. So I help people who have very serious disputes solve those disputes, come to a resolution. And I want to bring that same experience to Little Rock and to the legislature.
Excellent. So talk to us about your political platform. What are the main issues that you want to focus on?
I think because I know our time's very limited, the one I want to talk about this morning is education. I'm always hearing people talk about we need to make our state more competitive. And most of the time when I hear that conversation, it's in relationship to tax reduction, please. But I would tell you that I think education is the most important thing. The reality of it is, if we don't have an educated workforce, we can't be competitive. We've got to get in front of that. I listened to a state representative, a Republican state representative the other day, mention that there are thousands of jobs in Arkansas that are not being fulfilled it's because we don't have a qualified workforce. One of the things that bothers me, we have something called career centers in Arkansas, which are designed to help folks that don't want to do a typical college path. We are funding that program called Career Centers at the same rate that we did when we rolled it out in 2003. To me, we're missing a real opportunity to give these folks an opportunity to higher education, even though it may not be college.
Well, I would agree. It really invests in the next generation of
Right, absolutely. And I would say this, Carrie, there's lots, I should say I'm running as a Democrat. I don't think I mentioned that, but I am running as a Democrat. And I would tell folks, particularly if newcomers are listening to this, if I could just encourage them to register to vote. I've been here since 1994 in Arkansas, and I know from experience that a lot of people that move here, it may take them 2 or 3 years before they register to vote. And I would just encourage them to do that now. Particularly, I would say it's exciting in my district. In District 3, I'm running for the state senate, but there's 4 House seats that overlap into parts of District 3. Each one of those has a young Democrat candidate running, and of course they each have a Republican incumbent running. So there should be some excitement and interest in our elections coming up. Right, and I would mention, they probably know this, but today is early voting for the primaries. Primary elections May 22nd. I don't have a primary opponent, so my name's not going to be on the ballot, but it is something for people to start looking at this week. In the fall, yes.
that you could end up on a page that would tell you where you can really vote. So with the new voting machines, we're able to vote at any of those early voting locations. And again, at any location, like this in the fall. The new voting machines have given us opportunity to have more places to vote.
It's great. I would say that the Department of Motor Vehicles is also a place in Benton County where you can go to vote as well. Yeah, JohnComstockForSenate.com is our website. And it is JON. I appreciate you mentioning that. It's JON both times. Actually my email is john@johncomstock.com, which you can reach out to me. My phone number is 479-659-1767. And my commitment, and part of what I want to do is I really do want to be accessible to people, so I'm hoping people will take advantage of this contact information, reach out to me, and let me know what's on their mind. All right.
Avoid the rush and vote early for the Arkansas primary. The primary is March 27th, so we will have voting going on the weekdays and some Saturdays until then. I'm Carrie Perrin-Smith, and I am a candidate Republican on a Republican ticket for
JP. I'll tell you, JP.
The magic of life for Justice of the Peace, District 5. We're so happy you joined us this morning. Come back next week for more magic here on the Political Show.
Good. That explains why you said District 5.
Tell me I'm forgiven and free, 'cause I hear it from the street corner preaching. How God is loving a man can be free, but my joy has been on holiday. My peace is almost past, so tell me I'm forgiven and free. Oh, I tried to rectify this hopeless situation, but I bought the lie, I still have work to do. Now I'm working 9 to 5 so I can earn my own salvation, but there is no condemnation in you. Oh, whisper to me now that it's real. Oh, because in the silence of these walls, righteousness is its appeal. Dirty deeds has brought me in, oh, but that's gonna stop the faithful friends. Mercy once again as you heal, as I'm feeling it. Oh, he died to rectify the hopeless situation, but the lights still have work to do. Now I'm working 9 to 5 so I can earn my own salvation, but there is no condemnation in you. Oh, he died to rectify this hopeless situation. The commands my guilt to leave. Now on Calvary I stand, deep pockets, open hands. There is no condemnation for me. Child, you're forgiven and free. Child, you're forgiven and free. Child, you're forgiven. Child, you are loved. Child, you're forgiven and free.
And good morning. We're back at Neighbors Mill, and I'm excited to be back with Rob and Melanie Elliott from Northward Coaching, and
Thank you.
And really talking about some of the challenges with money. Rob, tell us what's on your mind today about the challenges of money.
Well, change, really. I mean, in fact, change of habits.
All right. So talk to us a little bit about kind of, in fact, what those change of habits are and why it's hard for folks to break those change of habits.
Well, you have to find your why. You have to find your reason. Well, maybe we should even back up a little bit and ask ourselves, why do we need to change our habits? Okay. Melanie, what do you have an insight on that?
We develop habits over our lives and as we grow up, but what happens if those habits aren't good or sound? What's the impact? tell you the impact is a lot of stress in life, a lot of worry. Who'd have thought? A lot of worry about where your money's going to come from and the needs of what money can do for you. Did you have a statistic about that?
Well, in fact, you will. The habits you've gotten will get you to the same place you've always been, and that's why 75% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So something's got to change. We've got to do something different.
So what causes people to, change their behaviors? In one sense, we talk about where you have to develop habits to change habits.
Yeah.
So walk us a little bit about what they do.
Sure.
Internal or external. Oftentimes, there's an external point of pain or something that ignites change that makes us realize I'm going to have to do something different to get a different outcome than what I'm heading toward. So after that, the internal motivation needs to kick in and keep you going towards those goals.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in poverty, and my parents didn't make any money, so they didn't know how to manage money, and of course they didn't teach me what to do with it. What I grew up in, though, was a broke mindset, and I knew how to get out of it. I ended up saying, how do I get out of this place? And I joined the military because I wanted to go to college. I did that. I went to college, and I actually got a job, started making money, but I still didn't know what to do with it. So I had this vision, and like many of us, we have to have a plan to enact the vision.
Go ahead.
Right, and that's what we do in one-word coaching. We help our clients gain some hope, gain some perspective, make a plan that will work for them to get them set towards financial success and a better future.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about, because we've got a few minutes of time left
Sure.
before we kind of get into our next segment, but, people are sitting back struggling.
You're flipped
day to
over.
day. We know that.
Yeah.
We see it day in and day out in our economy. And so, developing that plan, how do they, let's go back a minute and talk about how we kind of break away that cycle. What is kind of step one? Because people are like, yeah, I know I need to change this, but kind of what, in your opinion, for both of you, is kind of just step one, to break that financial burden that you're under?
I think you have to have hope, in fact, because if you don't have hope, you won't even try. And so that's why we have this focus on developing a vision and developing a dream. You've got to have the hope. And then if you don't have a way to do it, then you're really still going to be kind of hopeless. So having a plan, and that's why you get our card says plan to prosper. We really think that gives people the ability to think through long term, and that builds up that hope inside.
When we talk about a plan, I'm looking at this mound of debt. I'm sitting here swimming in all this paperwork. Bills keep coming in every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just toss them in the box to just get away from them, and people have been there and they've done that program. But where is it they start? Is it, Rob and Melanie, is it that, you talk about that plan for a moment, is it that they end up sitting down and saying, okay, I've got to take all of this and put it on a piece of paper and understand what my expenses are?
Sure.
It sounds like you're talking about a budget, and that is the foundational piece often that people are missing, and that we go through with somebody who wants our help. And when you're tired enough of it, when you're mad enough at your situation, that you know something needs to change. This happens in all areas of life. Maybe it's a health issue, maybe it's something else, and a lot of times it's money. Something has got to change. I've got to change this trajectory that my life is on. Am I willing to do what it takes? And yes, the first step is figuring out
For a few minutes at one time, but this is
what you can do. What are my numbers?
Yep, because I had to leave and take Maddie to the orthodontist.
Yeah, if you don't know what you have and what's coming in and going out, you're just going to spin.
There you go. Rob, Melanie,
thank you, Michael.
So much for being
Thanks
on
for having
the
us.
program and talking about change. And now let's get to Bisbeat and welcome Nancy Lusader and Bolt and really get an escape experience.
All right.
All right.
Okay, good. Thank you.
That is. So
That's what really excites me.
some of our
about
audience
people
may not
who,
know just
get
what
into that.
escape room is. So why don't you give us an overview?
Absolutely. So we are, we're an escape room. Basically, you come in and pay us to lock you in a room for an hour. That's the fun of it. Basically, you have an hour to find your clues and solve your puzzles and escape out of one of our game rooms.
Well, you have, I believe, 5 themed rooms there.
We
is that
do.
correct?
We do. We have 5.
Tell us a little bit about the 5 rooms.
So we have the Slammer, which is, it's kind of like a jail cell, jail in general.
Okay.
We have Leroy's Garage, which is the epitome of the old guy that you knew when you were a kid down the street that had a garage, ran a shop out of his one-car garage, you know. And then we have the Professor Study, which is kind of our take on that 70s era Indiana Jones, going back to being that treasure hunter.
Gotcha.
And then we have the attic, which is kind of like your grandma's old attic, you know. You're not supposed to be in there, and you go in and the door locks behind you. And then we have closed quarters. And it's probably my favorite.
Closed quarters?
Closed quarters.
Okay.
And
Now,
it's
that's the one with the
actually
arcade, right?
an abandoned arcade.
Okay.
Yep.
I see a lot of times people on your Facebook page with the sign that says out of quarters or something like
That's
that.
for closed quarters.
So I figured that was that one. Well, who are your customers?
Anybody really, anybody and everybody. Anybody that wants to get out of their phone for an hour, get out of their technology for an hour. It's more like exercise for your brain. It helps you to kind of use your brain, work your brain, and we have a lot of parents bring their kids in to get them out of that technology, you know, give them a break from it, you know, so pretty much anybody.
So well, how many people can be in a room at a time?
So each room holds up to 12.
Up to 12?
Yep.
Okay.
And we
So
do...
at any one point you could have 60 people in rooms?
Absolutely. Throughout the 5, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if somebody wanted to have a big event there, or a birthday party, or a team building event, are those the type of things you could do also?
Yes, we do a lot of like corporate team building. We do a lot of birthdays.
Just a variety of things.
Yep.
Well, I know people can go to your Facebook page and your website and see a lot of the groups and
Yes.
get ideas from
Yep.
that of who they might want to bring in. I noticed one group that had white shirts on and they'd taken black tape and made it look like they were, prisoner.
Yes, that was the
outfits.
birthday party that we had this weekend, and they actually custom made the shirts before they got there.
I thought that was pretty creative.
Yes, yes.
Well, you also have a great meeting room. And
Yes.
Recently, we hosted an event at your location and served some Johnny Brusco's pizza in that.
Yes,
that
it was
room.
great.
So, what other uses have you had in that room?
We offer it for anybody that needs to have a meeting space. We do some networking groups there.
So, like if somebody comes for a birthday party, can they do cake in that room?
Yes.
Before or after?
Yep. Yep.
Or a team meeting, they could do food.
Absolutely.
Do their lunch with
Absolutely.
it?
Yes.
Have it catered? Or?
Yes, we can have it catered in, or they can have it catered in, and yep.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, tell us about how they can learn more and how they can reserve time in one of the rooms.
So the best way to reach out to us is our website at boltsnwa.com, or you can call us. It's 479-358-9300. We just changed our numbers, so.
Well, and you have a new location.
We do. We are now at 404 Southwest Regional Airport Boulevard, right off of Walton.
Right off of what the old people call
Rainbow Curve.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for coming out this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And let's do our own little escape here in a month. Well, we've got a visitor, but we're going to switch back over to Gabe. Okay, so let's switch over, escape to Gabe.
Out of sadness from wherever you've been. Come broken hearted and rescue again. Come find your voice, oh sinner, come near. Earth has no sorrow. earth has no sorrow. So lay down your burden, lay down your shame. All who are broken, lift up your face. Oh, wanderer, oh, you're not too far. So lay down your books, lay down your heart as you are. All those who stay, sit up and sing. Come taste the praise. There's rest for the wind. Rest that endures. Earth has no sorrow. Heaven can cure. So lay down your burden. Lay down your strength. All who are broken, lift up your faith. Oh, wanderer, oh, you're not too far. So lay down your books, lay down your heart as you are. There's joy in the morning. Instead of being still, earth has no sorrow, heaven can feel. Earth has no sorrow, heaven can feel. So lay down your burden, lay down your shame. All who are broken, lift up your face. Oh, wanderer, oh, you're not too far. So lay down your hands, lay down your heart, come as you are, as you are.
Now we're back. Thank you again, Dave. And we're back with Dio tonight. Dio, last week we told you about Angelina and how she was one of our community liaisons that makes Zoom visits throughout Northwest Arkansas. Well, today we have another home community liaison with us for visiting, and her territory is in Bella Vista. So a lot of you may see her visiting new homeowners in Bella Vista. Welcome, Dio.
Thank you.
Well, tell us what interests you most about becoming a community liaison for NW Welcome Services.
Well, just getting out there and meeting new people and welcoming them to the neighborhood and making them feel at home and just the smiles on their faces when you just to listen to their story and get to know them better and everything.
And we do hear some interesting stories.
Yeah.
So, well, you're kind of a newcomer yourself. It hasn't been that long since you moved to NWA. And so what brought you here?
Honestly, the atmosphere, just so many friendly people up here, and it's beautiful up here. That lots of places to like go hiking and just be outdoors, and big outdoors person myself, and just I love it. And a lot of friendly people, and it's just so welcoming around in Northwest Arkansas. I love it up here.
Well, with what you do, it's a good thing you like the outdoors, because I'm sure you're out there with pets a lot. Dio also owns a pet sitting business, appropriately named Dio's Pet Sitting. And so, Dio, tell us, do you just spend your whole day hanging out with cats and dogs and going over and taking care of them and
loving on them? Yep, I get to hang out. Yeah, I get to hang out with them and brush them and walk them, or just play ball with them, or even just sit and watch TV with them. Some of them just want to lounge around, and so that's what I'm there for, is just to give them a nice little warm body to rub every now and then.
So you do a lot more than just letting them out and pulling their food dish.
I do. I get to, like I said, take them out and get some fresh air and trim their nails if they need their nails trimmed or whatever. Just kind of maybe a little massage every now and then, just to make them feel like not that their owners didn't abandon them, that they have a good person there to just to interact with them and everything.
Well, tell me this too, and I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this question, but what's the most interesting pet you've ever taken care of?
Honestly, it was a pig, actually, on a harness. I had to go and take her and off of her harness every day and put her in her kennel, and then in the morning come back and put her back on her harness to be able to roam her area and everything, and that was really interesting. And out of all my years of doing pet sitting, that's the first time I've ever taken care of a pig, and it was pretty interesting.
That is.
And challenging a little bit.
So how much time do you spend each time you go on a visit?
I try to spend at least 30 minutes to an hour, and like I said, it's not just like sitting there staring at the dogs. I actually interact with them and and just make it feel like their owner's still there, and make them feel happy and loved. So.
By the way it sounds, it's kind of like a vacation to them, and they probably are like, yay, she's back.
A vacation from their mom and dad. Yeah. It's like teenagers that are like, oh, they're gone.
Well, and you still have customers in New Mexico that have you come out there and do some things for you. That's amazing.
I do.
Well, what about if the pet has a health issue?
Well, I do take care of diabetic pets, so I can administer medication and everything. I've had dogs that are, have eye problems, and I can do eye drops and everything. And I think that's why they kind of feel a little bit safer with me, because I was a vet tech for 16 years, so I kind of know if something, health issues are they're having problems or whatever, I can recognize it right away and be able to, if they need to go to the emergency vet, I can take them if it, that bad of a case. I mean, I've had to take a dog to Albuquerque one time to have emergency spinal surgery, and he had a spinal stroke, so yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So how can people get in touch with you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, of course, and you can always call and text me, and anywhere. You can see my car everywhere. I've got a big, huge sign on my car, so.
Awesome. Well, and so they can message you through Facebook, or is your phone number out there on Facebook too?
It is.
Okay, so we can do that. Well, thank you so much for being here too, and we look forward to getting to know you through a long relationship.
Me too.
Home visits and pet visits.
Yes, and talking and gathering.
So I always enjoy our texting moments and the rare that we have them.
Yes.
So, well, now let's take it back to the soundboard one more time to the gate.
Okay, I could say my number on the. Okay, good.
I'm full of earth, you are heaven's worth. I am stained with dirt, prone to depravity. You are everything that is bright and clean. To them of me, you are divinity. A certain sign of grace is there. From broken earth that was covered, pushing through the dirt, and you are holy, holy, holy. Heaven cries holy, holy God. You are everything that is bright and clean, and shall covering me with your mist. Truest sign of grace is there. From wounded hands, redemption fell down. Liberation there, and you are holy, holy, holy. Heaven cries holy, holy God. You are holy, holy, and holy. Wanna be holy, holy, holy. Heaven cries, holy, holy God. You are holy, holy, holy. Wanna be holy like you are.
Excellent. Well, we're back at Neighbors Mill, dear, and great music from Gabe Wood, and going to love to have him back sometime
Yes,
for sure.
and Michael, this hour, little over, just flew today.
It did. It went by really
We
fast.
had so much fun. Well, we want to thank those who were sponsoring today's event, which was your friend Rick McLeod
Rick McLeod at Farmers Insurance, right.
And then also the fabulous Nothing Bundt Cakes.
Yes, and Sonia and Nothing Bundt Cakes.
Yeah.
We love her as well, and of course Neighbors Mill for having us here
Neighbors
as well.
Mill is the best. And don't forget that, one thing, I double checked with Mike, and we actually told you what last Saturday's special was, daily special.
Well.
Today's is the Ozark Mountain BLT.
The Ozark Mountain BLT, so there must be a little extra pepper in that bacon then.
Good old, I wonder if it has no, I won't go there, never mind.
No, or a little extra fried on that bacon.
Well, my southern heritage would be coming out if I had suggested they might have gravy on it or something.
Oh, now that would be good. A BLT with gravy.
We can be creative, but let's not get that creative. So once again, we want to thank the legislators at both for
Definitely.
production and technology, just excellent partners in this endeavor, and Barton Consulting, and my favorite, Ashley Home Store. We just love to go in there.
Where else would we sit?
Right. Well, hey, before you finish, you're going to wrap up and tell them about the rest of our sponsors. But before you do that, we got to tell them about the change next week.
Yes, we have a schedule change next week. So on April 14th, we will be live from Neighbors Mill, but that'll be at 5 o'clock in the evening. And we might even be having some additional special guests we'll announce throughout the week. And we may even have it from the patio, depending on the weather. So that'll be great. And then April 21st, we'll be live from Meteor Guitar in downtown Bentonville at 5 o'clock in the evening with a ribbon cutting. Both of these will be ribbon cutting events on both of these nights. And so we'll be coming live again on the 21st at Meteor Guitar. I think that'll be real great. And there's a rumor floating around. I don't know for sure. There's a rumor floating around. We might even have the School of Rock there at Meteor Guitar as well. So don't know. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but there's a rumor floating in the mill on that.
Right. So, well, and I'm looking forward to those two ribbon cuttings as we have our community partnerships in the Chambers of Commerce that are kicking off and welcoming us as a new show.
Well,
so
definitely.
Those are something to look forward to. So after work, come out and join us on those days. Again, on the 14th, we'll be here at Neighbors Mill. On the 21st, we'll be at Meteor Guitar Gallery. And
I think we want to thank our other sponsors, too.
Sure. Go ahead.
Faith Event Services, of course, Meteor Guitar Gallery, KR Promotions, Simply Cool, where you've got to be really cool to have one of their cup holders.
It's just too cool.
It is too cool. And, of course, Music Works in Bentonville. And, of course, Rick McLeod, Farmers Insurance. And, of course, our good friend Ron Amos at Minuteman Press. So,
thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Well, until next week, this is Arlene and Mike saying, good morning, neighbor.
There you go.
That's our signature.
Yeah.
We did it the first time.
And I forgot it. We got the look from Nancy, so I'm not sure. We maybe should have run that past her first.
What?
On our 5 o'clock in the evening for the 14th and the 21st.